Now, let's get started. You need to relax. Number 11. It would be like asking someone who has food sickness to improve their digestion. To tell someone who suffers from worry to relax, although it seems beneficial, it is utterly pointless and somewhat offensive. This is the problem. Your nervous system slamming on the gas is anxiety. Usually, it hits the gas harder when you tell it to relax. Your brain sees attempts to maintain composure as a sign that something is amiss, which only serves to prolong the fear. Well done, you're worried about becoming nervous now. In actuality, giving up on anxiety is the fastest method to de-escalate it. Allow it to exist. It resembles a tantrum from a toddler. It yells louder the more you participate. Your brain is essentially told, oh, we're not in danger. When you accept your fear without responding to it, a false alarm, continue. However, as soon as you say, all right, I must get rid of this emotion, take a breath, give up, calm, why does this not work? In a sense, you've added fuel to your mental fire. Therefore, simply disregard someone who encourages you to cool down next time. 10th, anxiety, like toxins, can be expelled through perspiration. It seems like someone selling expensive essential oils came up with this one in a sauna. Many people think that they can get rid of their worry like a bad burrito by just sweating it out through hot yoga, steam rooms, or workouts. Yes, exercise does help reduce anxiety. Movement can definitely reduce discomfort and burn stress chemicals. Sweating, however, does not eliminate worry like poison does. Anxiety is not harmful. Like emotional Gatorade, you can't just turn up the heat and let it pour out of your pores. In fact, intense exercise may cause anxiety in certain people. Your brain may mistakenly perceive symptoms like a racing heart, shortness of breath, and dizziness as panic. Even straining yourself in the name of relaxation might backfire if you're doing it to avoid rest, emotions, or silence. Therefore, even if working out can help, treating it like a detox button is just another way to use a gym membership to achieve your goals. 9th, anxiety is a sign that something is amiss. You're nervous. Cool, you're not broken because of that. It indicates that your brain is functioning just a bit too effectively. One of the greatest misconceptions is that anxiety indicates mental illness or weakness. However, it isn't. It's an overreactionary protective mechanism, similar to an overly cautious smoke detector that sounds each time you bring water to a boil. In order to keep you alive, anxiety evolved. It's the natural warning mechanism in your body. Yes, when it starts yelling about texts, deadlines, or unclear emoticons, it can be annoying. However, the system is not flawed in and of itself. It's an aspect of survival. The judgment of anxiousness is where the true issue begins. You experience anxiety and then worry about your anxiety. Anxiety. Stress is a layer cake. The idea that you're flawed only serves to fuel the flames of shame. And everything burns twice as intensely when one is ashamed. Let's be clear then, you're not weak, you're not flawed, you're not less because of your worries, having an outdated operating system that occasionally requires software updates only makes you human. 8th, anxiety can be contracted from other people until you learn that your brain is essentially why. 5 for emotions. This one seems absurd. When you're around a coworker who is panicking, you start to feel nervous as well. Well done, you've just acquired anxiousness from others. We refer to it as emotional contagion. Without your consent, your brain mimics the emotions of those around you. So yes, anxiety can spread. It's more of a vibe infection than the flu. It spreads by tone, body language, and small facial gestures. And before you know it, your heart is pounding for no apparent reason. You're not dreaming either. Certain parts of the brain, such as the insula and mirror neurons, have been shown by neuroscientists to literally sense other people's emotions. Therefore, it does not indicate weakness if you experience continual anxiety about particular individuals. You're wired for connection, perhaps a bit too well. It's not always your anxiety. Sometimes you're merely picking up emotional static from the people around you. It's time to press the button for mental silence. 7th, your anxiety is all mental, not at all. False, rejected. This one must be retired permanently. When you tell someone that everything is in their head, you're essentially saying, hey, I don't understand this, so I'm going to minimize it and hope you stop talking. Anxiety may seem like a psychological condition. It's intensely physical. Racing thoughts, fear and paranoia, chest pressure, stiff muscles, stomach flips, a fast heartbeat. It's not a fantasy. Your body neglected to invite you to a full-blown nervous system party. The gut-brain link is another the majority of your feel. Good hormone serotonin is found in your digestive system. As a result, when your gut feels off, your head follows suit. Regards, microbiome. Anxiety is influenced by hormones, sleep, caffeine, and blood sugar levels. It's not your imagination. It permeates every part of you, including your breath, belly, and blood. It would be like blaming your computer screen when the hard drive is on fire. To claim it's all mental. This is simply not how it operates. Sixth, in order to feel better, you must understand the cause. This is an entertaining trap. You begin to dig because you're nervous. Why am I feeling this way? Was there something I overlooked? Did I say something stupid? Is it related to the email I wrote back in 2017? Before you know it, you're in your own mind on a full-fledged detective mission, and you have no idea what crime you're trying to solve. This notion that, in order to feel better, you must identify the source of your anxiety. Though it's a myth, it's reassuring. Anxiety might occasionally appear without warning. No interesting backstory. No obvious cause, your blood sugar may be low, you may have slept poorly, your brain may have simply decided, it's spiral hour, the cause isn't always important, and overanalyzing it usually makes it worse. Consider this, you're drowning and pausing to determine the cause of your fall rather than swimming. Sitting and analyzing your anxiousness while it pulls you down is like that. You can feel fine before you figure out the puzzle. Sometimes giving up on attempting to fix every problem is the fastest solution. Fifth, the advice to stay away from triggers. This one makes perfect sense at first. You should just stay away from things that make you anxious, right? The issue has been resolved, not really though. Avoidance is effective in the short term, but in the long term, your brain becomes conditioned to fear more and more things. Telling your brain, yes, that thing is dangerous. I appreciate your panic. Here's a prize. Now congrats, your comfort zone is about the size of a shoebox. Avoidance is a trap. It reduces the size of the planet. And because your brain can't cope with stress, even safe areas begin to feel unsafe. Exposure is the true solution, gradually exposing yourself to anxiety, inducing situations, until your brain grows tired of panicking. That sounds awful, it's not enjoyable, but it does the job. The more you give anxiety its favorite food, avoidance, the more hungry it becomes. Fourth, anxiousness is a sign of weakness. This is the mental equivalent of getting kicked while already on the ground, which makes you feel nervous and weak. Fantastic. You're anxious and embarrassed now. Double the bonus. Let's make this clear. Being anxious does not imply weakness. It means your nervous system is highly motivated to keep you alive. It's like having a security guard in your head who is too high on caffeine. Yes, he's obnoxious. No, he's not a bad guy. But every time someone knocks on the door, he sounds the fire alarm. He's simply overdoing it. You know, some of the most resilient and powerful individuals have endured years of silence and anxiety. Professional athletes, surgeons, astronauts, they're all nervous. Turns out, it's quite stressful to be a competent human in a chaotic world. And you are not powerful if you act like you're unaffected. All it does is make you sweaty and repressed, the ability to feel fear, and still show up. That's true strength. It's working when your heart is pounding and your inner voice is yelling, abort mission. So feeble. No, you're just a meat computer that's extremely sensitive and doing its best. It's not a sign of weakness. It's firmware. Third, anxiety can be permanently eliminated. Whoa, what a surprise. You've discovered the secret remedy that permanently removes uneasiness from your mind. Nice, let me guess. Kale, meditation, and 12 glasses of water a day. Listen, anxiousness isn't a malfunction. There isn't an off switch for it. It's a feature. It's how your body prepares for danger. The issue is that sometimes your brain thinks a missed text message is a bear attack. Zero anxiety is not the goal. This is functional anxiety, saying, yeah, I'm anxious, but I'm not letting it drive the bus. People are set up for failure by the illusion that anxiety can be permanently eliminated. You feel like you've failed every time it reappears. You haven't. Now you know what it's like to have a human brain. Managing anxiety is like brushing your teeth. You don't do it once and consider it done. You do it over and over daily, persistently, sometimes annoyingly. Anxiety doesn't go away. You just get better at not letting it ruin your day. Second, discussing it exacerbates it. People who say things like just tough it out or don't give it attention, love this one. Here's the truth. Anxiety doesn't disappear just because you refuse to talk about it. That only gives it a small, dark room to gnaw its teeth and secretly plan your demise. People who avoid the topic experience loneliness, embarrassment, and the belief that they're the only odd person in the room. Spoiler alert, you're not. Everyone is nervous. They're just hiding it with fake smiles and strong coffee. Talking about it is how you take the power away from fear. Say it aloud in public. You don't have to live in the conversation forever. You just have to admit it exists, but doesn't define you. Half the time, someone replies with, "Wait, you feel that too." And just like that, connection, it doesn't get worse when you talk about it. Silence does, first of all. You ought to be past this by now. Yes, exactly. The inner voice that appears in a passive-aggressive tone. With a clipboard, even after all these years and all this work, you're still nervous. Cool. Thanks, Brenda, for the shame spiral. Here's the reality. There's no straight road through anxiety. You don't graduate from it. There's no final exam, no diploma that certifies you as permanently mentally stable. Anxiety progress looks weird. Some days you're okay. Other days, the grocery store makes you cry just because they moved the cereal. Healing is not linear. It's an odd, disorganized roller coaster of emotions with no safety bar. Anxiety never really goes away. Every time it shows up, you learn to ride alongside it. So if you're still dealing with anxiety, you aren't behind. You're just human, on the 99th level of an infinite game. That concludes today. I plan to create more videos like this, so please subscribe to watch them.